Hello everyone, welcome to the Anime Recap Media YouTube channel. Please like the video, subscribe to help our channel and enjoy this full video. Satoru Fujinuma, a 29-year-old struggling mangaka in Chiba in the year 2006, periodically encounters a phenomena he calls revival, in which he is transported back in time to stop a tragic occurrence from happening nearby. He uses it to save a youngster from a speeding vehicle, but as a result, he must spend a few days in the hospital. As he recovers, Iri Kadagira, a co-worker, commends him for saving a life. Later, when his mother Sachiko pays him a visit, she reminds him of an incident that took place in their Hokkaido hometown 18 years prior. An adult by the name of Jun Shiratori, also known as Yuki, who Satoru had trusted, was apprehended for the kidnapping and murder of 3 local children, including 2 of his classmates. The following day, when Satoru undergoes another revival, Sachiko notices a guy who appeared to be attempting to abduct a child. After more investigation, Sachiko concludes that the guy was the actual murderer from 18 years ago, but she is assassinated at Satoru's apartment before she can tell anybody. When Satoru is accused of murdering Sachiko after finding her death, his revival transports him back to 1988, when he was a 10-year-old Hokkaido elementary school student. Satoru finds peace in being able to visit his mother once more while he grows confused by the circumstances of his predicament. Satoru notices a bruise on Keiō Hinazuki's thigh, one of his classmates who was slain by the serial kidnapper, and realizes that being transferred to this time period by revival is related to Sachiko's eventual death. On the advice of his friend Kenya Kobayashi, Satoru reads an article written by Keiō that provides further insight into her difficult family life. Satoru chooses to invite Keiō to his birthday celebration in an effort to better understand her and maybe prevent her from being killed. Satoru holds back from winning an ice skating competition against a classmate in order to prevent accidentally trying to alter the future, upsetting the classmate and disappointing Keiō. Satoru assumes that Keiō will be kidnapped on March 1st since her birthday is on March 2nd, the same day as his, and the kidnapping occurred in March but before her birthday. While still adamant that Yuki is not the kidnapper, Satoru spends some time with him. Thereafter, Keiō's abusive relationship with her mother, Akemi, is revealed to Satoru when he discovers her battered in her home shed. The following day, Satoru has a conversation with his instructor, Gaku Yashira, who describes how he has been looking for evidence to convict Akemi of abuse for nearly a year but hasn't been successful. Later, after Keiō is suspected of stealing the lunch money from the class, Satoru defends her before bringing her up a mountain to show her a frost-covered Christmas tree. Sachiko assists Satoru in getting Keiō to agree to go with him to the neighborhood science museum. Satoru experiences déjà vu while on the excursion and becomes concerned because he keeps saying the same things. Both Satoru and Keiō are allowed to enjoy their birthdays the next day after March 1st. The day Keiō was first reported missing goes by without incident. Satoru feels convinced he has changed history at this point. But when Keiō doesn't show up for class the next day, Satoru is shocked. Another schoolgirl vanishes a few days after Keiō's abduction, and Satoru is furious that he was powerless to stop it. After seeing Akemi discard Keiō's possessions, Satoru finds himself unexpectedly back in 2006, still wanted for Sachiko's murder and having to flee from the authorities. Soon after, Satoru meets Iri, who accepts his innocence and invites him to stay at her home. There, he discovers that his actions did in fact alter the facts of Keiō's disappearance just a little bit. The following day, when Satoru conducts his best investigation, Iri prevents her manager from calling the police and reporting Satoru. Later that night, after helping Satoru hide elsewhere, Iri receives a text from Sachiko's phone before becoming trapped in a house fire. Satoru runs to save Iri from the burning house after seeing it, but not before she puts her phone into his pocket. The manager then takes over the rescue effort. Satoru contacts the number Sachiko left behind after discovering the message on Iri's phone and sets up a meeting with Sawada, a journalist friend of Sachiko's. Satoru is informed by Sawada about Sachiko's last phone contact, in which she claimed to know the identity of the real kidnapper but was unable to tell him before she was slain. Additionally, he provides an explanation for the information that has been made public regarding Keiō's death. He does this by pointing out how Yuki's framing of Sachiko's murder and another kidnapping occurrence in the same area. When Sawada visits Irie at the hospital to meet with her, she learns that Irie's mother has switched places with her in order to demonstrate Satoru's innocence. As Satoru researches Sawada's findings on the kidnapping incident, including a list of prior suspects, she finds that Satoru has been set up. Satoru meets with Irie, who tells him about a mystery man named Nishizano who could have started the fire, but the police show up and take Satoru into custody. Satoru sees the man he spotted leaving his apartment the night of Sachiko's murder as he is being taken away. Satoru uses all of his willpower to successfully activate his revival and travel back to February 28, 1988 because he is determined that things will not finish the way they are. The next day at school, Kenya confronts Satoru about Ko's predicament at home, saying that he has been aware of the domestic abuse for some time, and offers to help. On March 2, after the birthday celebration, Satoru throws a rock through Yuki's window, calling the police and giving him a plausible excuse for his whereabouts. Then Satoru goes looking for Akemi and almost knocks her down some steps before Kenya stops him and persuades him to take a different approach. Instead, with Ko's consent, Satoru chooses to abduct her and take her to an abandoned bus where they would hide out for a few days until it is determined that she is safe. But on the evening of March 3, an unidentified burglar breaks inside the bus while Ko is sleeping. When the trespasser leaves the bus, Ko is able to flee, leaving his footprint on a box that he kicked. The following night, Ko informs Satoru and the others about the intruder from the previous night while Yashira investigates Ko's home with several members of the Child Consultation Center. They discover a briquette thought to be the murderers as well as tools Satoru recognized as the ones used to accuse Yuki of killing Ko in a bag that was left behind. Satoru brings Ko to spend the night at his house, where Sachiko had been waiting for them, after realizing he is still caught up in the cycle of killings involving kidnappings. The next morning, Ko eats her first ever homemade breakfast, which causes her to break down in tears. Later, Satoru and Sachiko follow Ko home to face Akemi. Yashira and the consultants catch Akemi in the act as she retaliates violently to Satoru and Sachiko's charges, and they recommend that Ko be placed in detention. As Akemi is about to run off to the police, her estranged mother approaches her. She apologizes for not being able to help her after forcing her to leave her violent husband and raise Ko on her own, which causes Akemi to second-guess her own actions. Ko has moved in with her grandmother, so Satoru now concentrates on the other two victims, Hiromi Sugita, a classmate, and Aya Nakanishi, a pupil at the nearby school. Yashira gives Satoru a lift home, and while keeping an eye on both Hiromi and Aya, Satoru finds a cache of sweets in his car.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.